This is my favorite quote on innovation. The key to innovation is to manage the interaction between explicit and tacit knowledge. Ikejuro Nonaka is the co-author of the book, The Knowledge Creating Company. Please check it out. Today, we'll take a journey through the power of knowledge management, and I will demonstrate how it can drive personal growth and company-wide innovation. All right. Tacit knowledge is personal, experiential, and intuitive knowledge that is difficult to articulate or transfer to others through writing or speaking. It is acquired through personal experience and is often described as know-how. Examples include a person's skill at riding a bike, recognizing faces, or knowing how to de-escalate a difficult client situation. It's difficult to formalize. It is the opposite of explicit knowledge, which can be easily written down and shared. It's personal and subjective. It is shaped by an individual's unique beliefs, values, and experiences, acquired through experience. It comes from practice, hands-on learning, and personal interaction, rather than from books or formal training alone. And it is action-oriented. It helps people perform tasks, solve problems, and make decisions, often using intuition and pattern matching. I'll take you on a little journey back in time. I started my career unofficially as a gopher at the age of 15. We lived in a rough neighborhood, so whenever I was not in school, my dad brought me to his work on the job site. It was a bit different back then. My favorite time of the day was lunch. Why? Because it's when we all gathered to share stories about our lives, eat, and learn together. At 11 a.m., my dad gave me money to run down to the corner bodega to buy sandwiches, drinks for the guys. I would run back, set up for lunch, find a quiet spot on a job site, and call the guys. During lunch, my father always led the discussion, which started off with personal stories about growing up in the Caribbean, at the beach, cookouts, what they ate. I felt like I had such a boring life. But then it always moved into teaching our people the ins and outs of the trade. He demonstrated processes like soldering copper, which solder we should be using for 95.5 or 50/50, or how to use a new rigid 3000 pipe threading machine. He taught us the physics behind gravity systems and things like static pressure. We learned as a unit together through tacit knowledge. This was my first encounter with a community of practice. You see, we all got better at the same time. I learned by listening and watching because Dad wouldn't allow me to do anything other than fetch material and tools and haul it to where it needed to be for our workers. But by the time I was 18, I started architectural school, and I was also a full-fledged pipe fitter foreman leading a crew of 3. Years of tacit learning through listening and watching, it was time to put my knowledge into action. We never turned this tacit knowledge into document knowledge, but some of the crew went on to start their own plumbing and heating businesses, and some were very successful. Lessons learned from my dad. Son, we help others succeed, and through that, we succeed. This was my spark that ignited my drive for leading change. Explicit knowledge is information that can be readily articulated, codified, and shared in formal formats like documents, books, or databases. It is based on facts, theories, and procedures that are easy to communicate and can be stored for others to access, such as in a company manual or scientific paper. This is in contrast to tacit knowledge, which is personal, experience-based, and more difficult to transfer. Back on the rig time machine, a bunch of BIM and VDC folks from the AEC industry met twice a year and shared our tacit knowledge at a conference called the AGC BIM Forum. We collected, shared our experiences, and realized we had the same problem. We were all trying to solve the same problem within our firms or the industry. So we decided to transform that tacit knowledge into explicit knowledge by connecting people with knowledge and capabilities. We worked on several documents that became industry standards, one being the Level of Development Manual, or simply LOD Matrix. The transformation was in the conversion from tacit to explicit. It scaled across the globe once that happened. None of us were paid. In fact, we were mostly competing as firms. But we realized that to drive change, we had to create one source, or standard, or starting place, so we all build and improve from. This is the power of collective intelligence. I mentioned storytelling before. Storytelling is a powerful way to translate tacit knowledge, your personal experience, intuition, and gut feelings, into a form that others can understand and connect with. On their own, facts and data, explicit knowledge, can be informative but are rarely inspiring. They form the skeleton of a message. It's your tacit knowledge that provides the soul. By weaving these two types of knowledge together, your story becomes both credible and authentic. This combination is what moves an audience from simply understanding information to feeling inspired and persuaded to act. Back to our time machine, circa 2005 to 2015. Now let's dive into the value of a formal community of practice. In this example from Mortenson Construction, the community of practice was established by company leadership with a single purpose of building the capacity and capabilities of our people closest to the work. I had the privilege of helping build and lead this company-wide community of practice for over a decade at Mortenson. The relationships we built, the trust, the camaraderie was amazing. Together we transformed a company, one person, one project at a time, which ultimately led to accelerating change for the entire AEC industry. And we did this by converting our tacit knowledge into explicit knowledge. You see, this video report was back from 2013. We met informally on a weekly basis and formally twice a year to share knowledge and grow our capabilities. The best part was that we formed relationships, we built trust, creating a safe place to share our experiences and ask the dumb questions. We brought in our like-minded peers, whether it was superintendents, project engineers, estimators, or even admins, to get their input, and once we got consensus, boom, we started documenting our findings. We then shared that with other project teams and other regional offices, business development, marketing, clients, and eventually at conferences. You see, we created a knowledge engine from the people closest to the work, up through the company and to the industry, through converting our shared experiences and stories into documented knowledge. This explicit knowledge took on many forms, whether it was SOPs, presentations, VDC reports, and my favorite was always videos, pulling it all together through the power of visual storytelling. We never were trying to be movie directors, but found video was the quickest way to engage people visually, and it was super easy for them to share a link with others. The result was innovation. It was transformation. So back to the quote. The key to innovation is to manage the interaction between explicit and tacit knowledge.
Innovation isn't just about the tools we use. It's about the people using them and the knowledge we share as a unit. If you found that interesting, you really need to hear the full conversation. And if you're ready to move from being a technical technician to a strategic integrator in your own career, today is the day to join the UNSTUCK ecosystem. Head over to opex5.com to join our weekly newsletter, grab your first innovation playbook, and let's start getting you unstuck.